says your fault. I'm just going
I just did that.
That's awesome.
I forgot that a co-host can do that now.
Yeah. Co-host can do a lot of things. So, okay. So we're about to get started on 25 minutes on how to use Blab. No Blabbus Interruptus. Basically, this Blab, the link that we put down there is going to be to this document. And that document is going to tell you that this Blab is to help people use Blab. It's 25 minutes long. It's fast-paced with a clear goal. We want you to give you the confidence to use Blab. We don't answer many questions from the audience until we get through the material, because a lot of the questions that you may ask we'll answer during the material. And we'll show you how to use Blab, and that's it. And just by the way, we really enjoy doing this, and we know that it works because we see people out there doing Blabs. Like, we see people leave here and then go set up their own Blab, and we just get really excited for them about that. But anyway, we ask that you hold all questions until the end, and we do ask that you join the Blab when there's an open seat. Speaking of, right now, the host has a thing called open seat sitting right in front of them. Now, you've got a thing that says join. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock that seat during the presentation so that, we can kind of stay focused. Ron would be able to do that as a co-host too. The Circadians are a concept community. Our community isn't built around any single individual. We live, work, and thrive in what we call a guru-free zone. Everybody is equal, everyone matters, and everyone has their own special gift. The sum of those gifts is greater than the individual. And it's not new to, I know it's not new to Roy Montero, or Roxanne, because I've listened to both of them on Blabs, and they actually practice the same thing we do. We create event-driven, outcome-oriented business building platforms. For example, the event is the Blab. Outcome oriented is we clearly want you to be able to use Blab at the end. And business building platforms, how are you going to use it? We have some services that we do provide for that kind of thing. And I'm going to give you a link now to one called Brick and Mortar Rescue. And that is Brick and Mortar Rescue is a thing that I've been wanting to do for several years. I'm quite good at retail, but that's enough of that sales thing. It's exactly what it sounds like. The rules of Blab. Blab doesn't really have rules, but the Blab team has created some, and they are that you respect each other, you honor the viewer's time, let others talk, don't be an awful person to be around, argue the point, not the person, and the host sets the rules to the party. And we think those are all really, really self-evident. We think that they're very clear about what Blab is about. Don't be an awful person. Everybody's felt that before, even about themselves, like, I probably shouldn't have done that. First things first, we want to thank some of the people like Roxanne and Roy who are in the crowd or the viewers right now. And speaking of viewers, what we're going to do is, if you look up I see Elaine up there now too. If you look up across the top, you're going to see some numbers. You're going to see a 21, an I, and an 11. And sometimes all the way over at the end, you're going to see a little plus number. Now, I'll go there when I'm not the host. I'll go there and you'll see that plus number. And what that means is somebody is watching this. You can watch a Blab without being in Blab. That's one of the things that is very attractive about this platform, is that you can view a Blab without being in a Blab from the web without being signed in on Twitter, which is much different than some of the platforms that are out there that require at least some sort of a username. But if you click on the links up there, like the I is going to give you a list of the people who are 21 total viewers, and that there are 11 people that are watching now. You'll also see the people that are in there, whether or not you're following them. Angela Jones focuses on empowering others. There's Laughing Elaine. And if you need a laugh sometime, just go to some of her stuff. And T. Lensing, everyone should have a career they want. I am going to follow you. I believe that. And so that's one of the things we're going to get into as well, is how do you use those bios? When I rolled over the I and got that drop down, I could look at them very precisely. But there's a way to look at them differently on an individual basis. And I see that Michelle just joined us too. That's great. And Tracy, I saw both of them last night there. That was interesting. Blab we were in. I stayed out because I was working on some stuff. Okay, on the left-hand side, you're going to see a little thing that says "Tell a Little Bird." If you click on that, it's going to bring up a little box that says 20 minutes on how to use Blab, no Blabbus Interruptus. And it's going to tell you that if you post that tweet, it's going to send that out. We suggest that you do it, at the beginning of every show or at the beginning of every Blab so that people know that you're going online with your Blab. It lets your Twitters makes an announcement to the people that follow you on Twitter of what you're doing. And so it's a good way to get your viewers up. Giving props. Okay, everybody roll their hand or their mouse over Ron and just put it anywhere on his picture and just click. And you're going to see all these little bubbles that are coming up there. And we're giving him so much love right now, it's just making him all giggly. So you can see that giggly face that he's got right now.
It doesn't work for me. I tried to give myself some. It doesn't
You can't
work.
give yourself props, man. You can't, you can't. I'm sorry to tell you that, to be the bearer of that news. If you did, I'd have 1,000 by now. But you can't give yourself props. Hey, there's that +1 up there on the top right-hand side. You see that +1 that I talked about a minute ago. That means somebody is viewing it from the internet. Maybe it could be Nina, probably, is what I'm suspecting, because we have a team and somebody's probably gone over there and brought it up and not logged into Twitter. But you can't give yourself props, Ron. But that speaks volumes of you, buddy. That speaks volumes. Can't give me no love, but you won't get plenty for yourself.
Oh, I gave you a bunch before. I'll give you some more.
And the other thing about props is that they don't add up. They don't accumulate. So at the end of the show, at the end of your Blab, everything kind of goes away. But they are just nice. That's all. And there's no race or any specific number. And just in case don't try this. Don't print them off. Don't print them a thing that shows how many numbers you've got and take it to your bank, because he will give you nothing for them either. They're just good to have. All right, your Blab profile. The document that you're going to download is going to tell you how to get to it based off some stuff that was true but is no longer true, and that was that you had a little profile image up on the top right-hand side. You don't have that anymore. However, your image is up on the top where it shows all the people who are viewing. And if you click on your image, you'll see your name. You'll see your image, a picture of you, and then you'll see your name, and you'll see like I see @Stan Bush. If I click on the Stan Bush, it's going to take me to my profile page. And you're going to see over on the right-hand side, you're going to see a little image. Again, of your avatar. And if you click on that, you're going to see a little drop-down menu that says Profile, Settings, and Logout. Do not click on Profile, but click on Settings. And when you click on Settings, you're going to see your name, your email address, you're going to see a bio, and you're going to see an image. Then there's a bunch of other things down there about pushing the notifications out to you and things like that. But if you want to have a different image here than what you have on Twitter, you can change that image here just by choosing the file and letting it and uploading it here. And you'll have a different image here than you do on your Twitter account. We use that within the Circadians so that when we're going to log in and act as the Circadians versus the individual, if we're doing some sort of a backup work or something like that sometimes. But that is, I was telling, it wasn't Pastor, it was, Will Davenport. Is that's how people decide very quickly whether or not they're going to follow you or not, is by they look at that bio. And if there's something in there, and you can put links in that bio, if there's something in there that says, hey, I want to follow that person, that's how they make that determination. So that's on the Blab profile. That's on the settings. I'm going through this document. If you want to put that link down there again, that'd be great. Other neat things. The profile shows you the number of days you've been on Blab. So when you run across somebody that says, I've been here since the beginning, and you go over and you look at them, they've been like, I think I've been here 62 days, and I ain't been here since the beginning. I think it was, I think Blab was here for about 2 months or something like that. I think they're around 120 days. I don't really know. I think Roy could probably tell you. Yeah, thank you, Nina. But the profile also will show you how long somebody's been on Blab. There was a Blab last night that was very good, and the guy had been on for 12 days. If you've already hosted some Blabs, they will be viewable on your page under replay. if you click on that replay, this is part of the hosting stuff that we're going to be doing some blabs on how to host a blab here shortly. But if you click on that replay and you're the owner of that replay, you'll be able to upload it to your YouTube channel from there. You can also see a list of your followers and who you're following on the profile page. If you look at your followers' profiles, you can see if the follow is mutual. So you can look at the followers' profiles and you can follow them from there if you want to. Thank you, Michelle. How you can participate. Each blab has 4 blabbers, including the host. Right now we got 2, but when we open it up, there'll be 2 more seats up underneath. The host sits in the top left-hand square most of the time, but not always. I think some of the co-hosting stuff really affects that too. But you can always look and see who the host is, because if you look right here on me, you'll see an H. And Ron over there on his, he has an H right above to the left of his beautiful glamour shot picture that he's got up there of him. On the right-hand side, you're going to see a comment stream. All you have to do is type in your comment in that little box that says "say something cool," and type it and hit enter, and your comment will be added to the stream. Nina, I want to make sure that I answer that question for you about adding an image too. By the way, I don't have it on my notes, but you asked that about yesterday, so I want to do that. Matter of fact, you can make a question about it. Question. So if you have a question, you can ask it without being on screen. Simply type /Q space and then type your question. And so if you want to do that now to let us know that you are that you're kind of following along and want to see how it works, because believe me, when you go into a blab where there's a lot of people there and you don't put that /Q, then it's going to not get the attention of the host. Plus, up across the top, you'll see on the comments, add mentions and questions. And so right now, although I tend to be very focused on the material that we're trying to get through. I also do that to get a comment noticed, right? I'll show you how to do an image. You can click on mentions, and if anybody has mentioned my name, nobody's mentioned me. Whoever you're logged in at, that'll be in that mention tab. Under questions, I can see that there's questions about that was actually used the question thing to say we're too cool, how to add image on comments. I want to see how this works. Good. That's exactly what that's for. RCU women. Also interested in adding an image. Also do that to get a comment notice. It's different when viewing on an iPad. That's exactly right. And if you want to come in and tell us a little bit about that, you're going to have a chance in a minute. So that's how you do that in the comment stream with a Q. And you'll know that the question is highlighted. Rolling your mouse over a name in the comment stream, you'll notice a light gray star. Okay. If you roll over, let's say the Android does not have an app. Nope, sure doesn't. It does not have an app. But if you roll over that question, over Miss Tracy Lee over there, you'll see a star that's kind of gray. I'm going to click on that. And you're going to see a little sprinkle thing come up. And that means that I like that comment or that I saw that comment. And now there's 4 of them. So if I roll my mouse over there, I'll see that me, Roy Montero, Ron, and that would be RCU Women has agreed with that comment that she said, or at least noticed it, or given her some props on that. Now there's somebody else has added. I can't see that though right now because it's kind of moving. But there's also a little arrow. That's the reply arrow. If you click on the reply arrow, you'll notice it down in the bottom that you'll see it'll say at Miss Tracy Lee. And then when you do that, it's easier than going up and trying to copy it, because if you try to copy it, you're not going to copy it right, and it springs you onto another page. It does all sorts of strange things. So it's a whole lot easier to do that. Adding an S to the HTTP doesn't do anything. Still won't work. Maybe we can address that in a minute. Now, there's something about did they change that? HTTP used to be okay. That might be what they're talking about. So anyway, that little star there is it's just kind of the same as a favorite in a Twitter, the reply. And then there's a trash button. But I don't think that you as a viewer have the trash button, but the host does. the host has a little button where I can trash somebody's comment if they say something that is, not good. So you do have some control over a Blab as a host. Joining Blab is very easy to do. I'm going to unlock this right now, and you'll see a little button that says join. And so if you've got a question and you want to join, just hit that join seat and come right in, because we're kind of getting to the end of what the presentation part is. This is now into the Blab part. It's like, let's practice some of the stuff that that we're doing. You can look across the top and see who all's in here and who's viewing the Blab. And let's see. I'm going to address the thing about the image. Okay, all you have to do an image, like Roy's done an image there. All he did was he copied the URL to an image, and once he did that, it'll go out and it'll post it in here. You just right click on an image on like an article that you like, or within your whatever image repository that you use. But what I have noticed is that it does not work in Google Photos, but it does work on like Google Plus and other things with Google. But it doesn't within Photos. Even those even the photo albums that I have as public are not working, but they do work the same photo if I share it into Google Plus first. Hey, Roy.
Hey, Stan. Hey, Ron.
Hi, Roy.
You had you was answering a bunch of questions over there. Yes, everything is different using your iPhone app. It is different. You use an iPhone, Roy?
Actually, I do not. And what I would like to recommend as well, until they get everything completely stable, when you actually host or co-host, you should do it from a desktop or a laptop and be hardwired. Otherwise, you may run into a lot of issues beyond just the beta. You know what I'm saying? So while we're in beta, it's best to do that. And when they stabilize for phones, those apps, then everything should be okay, because I guess the world is now, the majority of the world, I should say, is now on mobile.
Yeah, I saw some numbers over there the other day about that, and it was like 90%. It was huge.
It is huge, and that's why we're getting the numbers that we are here and like on Periscope and the live streaming, because it's mobile doable. So, and that's the one thing I think that Google Plus is kind of sort of lacking. They've always lacked over there. So you can't start an HOA, I don't think, even with a mobile device just yet. And that's really bad. They're going to be behind the curve, so to speak, because a lot of people are like really embracing this where they didn't embrace Google Plus. So I'm sure you guys have noticed that.
Yeah, they say that. Is that what it is, Michael? Thanks. The reason why that image isn't working, come on in, man. This is what we're about. Anybody knows us, we're about like figuring that out. It doesn't have an SSL certificate. Yeah, that one did not. That particular site that I just posted that image from did not show up at first time. First time I've tried doing it from that Learn Blab site. But you're exactly right. It doesn't have an SSL certificate on it. Nobody sees Roy. Yeah, you're never going to see Roy. Well, you might one day, but yeah, I do. And what I'm going to do is close that out, Michael, and then you can refresh or something and try to come back in, because I'd like to hear what you're talking about on that. That's the first time that's right. I'm thinking about that. HTTPS is actually the only one I've seen that the images show up at. What about you, Roy?
Yes, absolutely. It has to be S, or it won't show up. What you just put in, even though it has an S, I just went and opened it up in a new tab. It says that your connection is not private.
Which one?
The one you just tried to put in there, or whoever it was that tried to put it in there on learnblab.com.
That's really interesting, because I'm probably going to put put a certificate on there today.
Yeah, because when I go there, it's crossing out the HTTPS.
Yeah, I have. That's the first site I've done in 5 years, man. I'd swore them off. I wasn't going to do any more web development.
Yeah, it doesn't have the certificate. Yeah.
Yeah, and then LearnBlab was like, okay, well, I need to do something to kind of tell people what we're doing over here. So, Michael, it looks like you are in some kind of a podcasting place or something. Is that the deal?
No, just in my room.
Just in your room?
Hi, Michael.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah. God, my computer keeps freezing. Are you there? Sorry.
Yep.
I had Windows update, and then now my computer's like acting really, really slow and keeps freezing up for some reason. I have no idea why. But yeah, to answer the people's question in the comments, yeah, it does have to be protected. Things like Facebook, Twitter, what's another one? Like Google, most Google images will work. Wikipedia works. It's any ones that have SSL certificates. So if anyone ever just goes to a website, you just look at the little extension top left. It'll say HTTPS or it'll be green, and then you know.
Yeah, but I'm going to interrupt you here for a minute, because if you look at the one that Nina put in there, it is a S, and it does not work.
Because she didn't put.
But that's on Google Plus. Is that in your? Yeah, is it in your gallery?
Well, because she didn't post the extension that ends with .jpeg or .gif or .png or something like. She just posted like an actual link to it.
Yep.
The image,
I say.
Like right click and grab the image URL, or you can just open the image and then add an extension. Just make sure it has like the .jpeg or PNG or whatever file extension, and it should work. Although I just use Imager.
And I do too, Michael. Yeah, that's just easy.
It's easy. You could just, sometimes it kind of sucks. You have to save the image and re-upload it, but you can make an account in Imager, and then you just have all your photos. And then I use for my GIFs, Giphy, which is essentially the same thing as Imager. And you can use Imager too for your GIFs. I just personally use Giphy because I try to separate the two. But yeah, hopefully that helps people who are trying to post images.
Yeah, it does. I saw it a couple of days, and I tried it a couple of times, but that's the first time I'd ever really thought about the certificate. First time ever, and that the JPEG extension. But you know what? I tell the story every now and then. There was a guy that came in. This is like, I've been doing this for 30 years, and there was a guy back in the day. I was hosting. I had fiber running in my office and everything. There was a guy that said, I want to know how to do this. I want to be able to create a website. I want to host it. I want to do the DNS. I want to buy the domain. I want to do all that. So we started that morning about 8 o'clock on, I think we were running, I think I was running a Linux box, but anyway, I was showing him how everything worked. And about 10:30, he said, there's a lot to this. And I thought, there is a lot to this. So he went to lunch, and the only time I've seen him since then was out in the mall and stuff like that. He said, no, I couldn't handle that. He said, it was just too much for me. But it changes every day. Let's see. And one of the things that I'm going to get in here is this. We're going to do some what it's called like a co-host beta program. We haven't actually brought it up yet, but we're working on what that's going to involve. But it'll be kind of like Ron and the other Circadians, is that they get a chance to come in here and see what's happening and understand that, when you come in here and you do this stuff, like, what's the worst that can happen? Like nothing. Like a guy like Michael comes in and goes, no, that ain't actually the truth. Well, I'm okay with that because I learned something, Well,
not that it wasn't the truth. It's just like, because some people too have been saying like, oh, if you just get a regular image URL and you just add an S to the extension, so it's HTTPS, it'll work, which is still won't work because the actual hosting website doesn't have it. So it's still kind of like blocked for the most part, But yeah, I think that's just something where people just by accident don't really think about it. Like, oh, why doesn't it work? That's weird. And they just grab another link where I try to figure it out, like, why isn't this link working? So yeah, if you do have your own personal blogs and your own website and stuff like that, just grab an SSL and you can drop your own links, which would be cool because, so like, for example, that GIF that she just posted that says, have a question, ask away. I actually made that and I hosted on Giphy, but it would have been smart for me to post it on my website and then track it and then see who's actually posting it and then what blabs and how often. But I didn't do that because I didn't think ahead, Because I was like, oh, I didn't know about the SSL when I made that. So, if you do want to do it for your own website, though, definitely get an SSL. I don't know where you buy your domains, but they're usually like $10 or something like that. And it is good. I mean, that's towards where the internet's working towards. Is like you got to be secured or. You know,
yeah, I've been like I was information security officer for the state of Georgia, so I'm pretty aware of security stuff. Yeah. But once you move away from that, it's kind of like if you cut hair all day, you don't want to go home and cut your wife's. It's like that's the last thing that you want to do. And I got away from a lot of development and that kind of thing and decided I was going to have fun with this. Okay, there is one thing that we want to do is that we're going to ask Roy and Michael to step out for a minute, and then we want Nina, the Circadians that are here, to come in for 30 seconds. They got a little thing that tells what they do because we think that that's cool. And then Michael, I do want to talk to you about some other things because I like that gift that you have. I actually need a bunch of those, and I'll tell you why, and we can talk about that.
Okay, yeah, I would actually like to hop back in too because there's more slash commands that came out that most people don't know about, especially for iOS. So I'll be happy to share with you guys, but I'll hop out real quick and then I'll be.
Oh, okay. And Mike Alton, I want to say hello to you, buddy. Yep. Okay. Hey, Nina, you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, I will. Just to tell you that I have a bell. I was to a conference of Blab yesterday and they used the bell. So I thought I found one at home. We have 25 minutes now. Yes. But if you don't switch me, I will not ring it.
I was waiting for, I just knew it was going to happen.
That's the USA thing.
No,
we need more cowbell.
That is the silver bell.
So tell us about
everybody. I'm glad to be on the Circadian community. I'm Nina. I come from Sofia, Bulgaria. This is the second ancient city capital in Europe. It is more than 7,000 years before Christ. I'm a Google 3, level 3 professional, and I'm also level 3 Insight seminars graduate with University of Santa Monica. What I can do is bring traffic to your business. I do it with the greatest pleasure and patience, and I'm really very good. And I speak Russian, French, German. I can translate and lead you to the rapid developing new communities. I'll be glad to welcome you at the Circadians and see you. Have a nice day. It's a lovely day today.
Thanks, Nina. And Monica is probably talking about the new commands. She says, yes, all those links are at Blab. Monica Karamos TV. Brittany's YouTube vid on comment features is there at YouTube too. And if you want to come back in here, Michael, that would be great. And anybody else, there'll be another open seat. Roy, if you want to pop back in here, or Mike Alton, I hadn't talked to him in a while. He's like the big thing we used to kid Mike about was during a 25-minute session, he would write 25 blog posts. He's really, really quick at that. His site is social media hat. Let me look at his what all he's got up there. Yep, he's top dog, man. He knows what's going on. Hootsuite Pro, I've got his book and can vouch for it. But where did Michael go? Is he still there?
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah. I thought he was going to tell us some of the commands, but maybe not. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I was looking at her. Hold on. Is that better? There's no echo now?
You're fine, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, you're fine.
For some reason, these headphones, whenever I join, it echoes for 3 seconds, and I have to mute my volume, and then I unmute it, and then it works. I have no idea why. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was looking at the commands. There's actually a few that they're not talking about because they're technically uncompleted, I believe, to an extent. When you join on the web browser, you get the little pop-up that says, you can notify your followers. But there isn't anything for mobile for the iOS. But there actually is. It's /notify. And you can actually do that at any time within the Blab. So if you do /notify right now on your iOS and on the desktop, it'll send it out and it'll notify you. So I'll just type it right there. Actually, to make a little GIF for that. Another one that they said works is co-host add at.
So you can add a co-host through a command prompt now, or command.
Yeah, so it's co-host or / co-host, the word add, and then whatever the username is. So it's like spaced out though. Co-host space add space whatever the username is. And then to remove it is co-host remove and then the username, and you can take people out that way.
Yeah, that reminds me. Give me 1 second, Ron. There were two commands there were two things that we forgot to tell them. At help. Yeah, I know you got your little card. And at help, don't do that right now, but at help will send a message to the tech guys at Blab, and somebody will come in and help you. And then the co-host, there's a / topic, and what Michael's talking about is the ones that's been added. And there's a / topic which allows you to change the although I don't know what the value of that would be anymore, because with a co-host could probably go change that and edit. You've got an edit topic up there, right?
Yeah.
Right below the,
Yeah, I still use a / command though personally, just because it's a little bit easier. Because instead of me moving my mouse, hitting edit profile or edit topic or title and typing it out, it's just for me. I'm already kind of like there, so I type fast and I'm always on my keyboard, so it's a little bit easier. But yeah, you could just go up to the top left, up there, top left corner, and you'll see it. And if you're on your iOS, if you're on the actual iOS app, you click the info tab, the little I button at the very bottom. It'll pop up, and then you can edit the topic right there. And then you can also record from there, too.
Now, Michael, as far as adding the co-hosts, I would think that if someone isn't yet in here, you could make them a co-host when they're not in here, and then when they do arrive, have you tried that? Does that work? Do you follow?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have not tried that, actually. I think the reason why I found this out is I was like sniffing through their lines of code, and it's like for the next update, they're basically creating like the buttons and images and the layouts to support it, but the actual prompt, like the actual command and the code of it exists. There's just no like image attached to it. So I think they're probably figuring that out. But I haven't tried it to the extent that you just said, which would be really interesting if you could.
Intuitively or logically, it would seem that it would work, and that would be the benefit if somebody's going to be here late.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you could say, "Hey, co-host is coming. They're on their way. I got to leave, but they'll be here in about 5 minutes. Keep the, Blab alive." So I can see that practical application for that.
I was talking to Furcon really kind of briefly, and I mentioned that the concept of like, let's say Stan is creating this Blab, and he wants to have Ron as the co-host. When he makes the schedule Blab, it only shows for the host, so he can't add Ron, and it won't show up on Ron's profile. And they said, "Oh yeah, that's a good point. We're going to fix that, and we're going to address that." So I wonder if they're going to address like all this together, which you just said, Roy, like all in one package thing. Because there's a lot of people that are doing co-hosts now, and they're like, "Oh well, who gets to the page where it's subscribed?" It's either going to be Stan or Ron, and one of the people are going to get like more traffic to their profile than the other one. But I'm actually curious, Roy. I want to open up another test Blab right now and give someone like.
That would be interesting to see. Mm-hmm.
While you two guys are on here, I have a question. I have an iPhone 4S. I have the beta, the regular app, but it doesn't with either one. When I go to Blab on my iPhone 4S, I have so much breakup and signal problems. Is it the phone? Because some people tell me when they got a newer phone that they didn't have a problem.
I think it is the phone, Ron.
Okay.
Michael, would you know for sure?
Yeah, I tested it because I have a 4S. My little brother has a 4S, and we tried as hard as we could, and it just wasn't working for the phone. We actually updated to the newest iOS version, and we went all the way back, and we still couldn't get it to work. So I think it might be the phone. He can watch it. He can't join. So he was able to like see people's boxes, but as soon as he joined, it just got all finicky, and then he wasn't able to. So I think it is just the phone, unfortunately.
While we're talking about all this unrelated stuff, I noticed that when you make, sorry, Stan,
no, that's actually the 25 minutes is up. We can talk about whatever we want now.
When the host gives co-host abilities to other people, they now have the option to come back during the replay and upload that particular video to their YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's pretty nice.
It is. The only thing is you don't get an email, and so you don't have access to the audio file.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that was what they said when I mentioned it briefly. I think they already knew that, and they were trying to figure out how they're going to be able to do that. So I think they're going to try to do it where, and this is just me speculating, or maybe when you make this show, you could have an option to add co-hosts, and then it'll just automatically in the beginning configure like these are the people who get the emails and stuff like that. I don't know for certain, but I mean that's what would make the most sense to me, and I think that's kind of what they're alluding to, like something that's like a pretty easy fix too. You just click a button and add people or add your co-hosts, and that's it. And then now it's in the system. But I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Now, for the people who are out there who are listening to this and saying, "Gee, it says the basic blab stuff." We don't often get Roy Montero and Michael being able to share this information at one time. So that's why we're just sitting back and keeping quiet and listening and taking it in.
And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do something that I've not done before. I mean, that's the thing about Blab is that you can just kind of have fun, right? I am going to make I have made people co-host, but I'm going to make Michael and Roy both co-host, and then I am going to step out. And I am going to. There was someone up in the. In the list here that I wanted to ask them to come in. Gosh, there was lots of people I want to ask to come in, but there was a specific thing that this person. Well, at any rate, I'm going to close myself out, which will not close the Blab out. Is that correct, Roy?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, and especially if you've given somebody else hosting capabilities. Yeah. And so while you're talking about this, so for those of you who don't yet know, even if you don't give anyone else hosting capabilities because you don't know or trust anybody else in the Blab, you can still step down and just watch from the live studio audience and then allow people to come in and out so that you don't even have to be a part of this. You can go about your business like I usually do when I run a really long one. It's like, I need to go out and make me something to eat. So I go to the kitchen, take about a half an hour and still run the thing from there because I ask people to let me know if somebody needs to come in. But now you can give them hosting privileges so that, you can still have people do this for you and not even be in the seat.
Yeah, I made a Blab. And the people were like, "Oh, we're gonna close it down." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll give someone a host privilege." And I left for like 8 hours, and I came back, and all the people were different, and the title was different. I didn't record it; it was just like a casual Blab. Yeah. But I realized I was the original host, and I was like, "Is this my Blab from this morning? How is this still going on?" And I was like, "Oh, hey guys, I guess I'm the original host of this." But yeah, it was kind of cool to kind of like how you said, hand it off, and if you have to go do something, you do something. Close it.
Really quick, Michael and Ron and Stan, that's been my dream to do a 24/7 Blab about a specific topic. So, for example, what we're doing here, how to use Blab. I mean, I think if you had a 24/7 how to use Blab network where you could hand it off to certain people and just keep it going, because there's going to be people popping in and out all the time. That's a great way to, and you don't have to record it because who wants a 24-hour, recorded Blab? But what I've been thinking is meeting and greeting with people, how to connect with new people, so on and so forth. So to do a 24/7 would be awesome. And if I could just find enough people, like 24 people, to do 1 hour, from across the world.
Yeah, Roy, that's why I've been wanting to talk with you, man, because I think we're on the same page on a lot of stuff. And I think Michael's probably on that same page. That's why Ron has started a 4 o'clock. That does that, that same exact thing is that to keep that whole thing on a different level, though. And I'm going to jump out. I wanted to tell you that I would be really interested in doing something that would be very different from a worldview of maybe either, an international holiday like a Christmas, having a 24-hour Christmas around the world, so that you could see somebody in a different country what they're doing on Christmas.
Oh, that's great. Yes.
Like it's right now is when they're opening. Just think about this. Being able to watch kids open presents all day long. How great would that be? That like there'd be nothing that could go wrong that day. It would just be just happiness and stuff. So I'm gonna step out again, but I would love to be involved, and I would love to do something like that.
Let's talk. Let's definitely talk, because I love producing shows. My forte is not necessarily to host them or guest host them, but to produce them and just find enough people to keep it running and keep it going. So let's talk. Absolutely. And we're early enough in the game to where we could do this. And we'll have the upper hand over everybody else.
Can you imagine what kind of a happy day that would be? That would be
absolutely
phenomenal.
Absolutely. Especially when we're all, working together in collaboration style. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody would have
nice one.
Everybody would have a vested interest. You know what I'm saying? And it would be the talk of Blab. And the Brittany would get behind it. Everybody would get behind it and start talking about it. It's like, you need to come here. So we need a strong network of hosts that can keep everything on target and on topic. And I think it would just be fabulous, especially for the new people. Meet and greet and help. If you want to meet new people, here's how you do it. And if you need some help, ask a question.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely there's a lot that can be done with Blab, and we're starting to see it. And for the short time that it's been on, it's just an amazing platform. Yeah,
guys. So this is what I heard, and this is I have no substance behind it. This is just stuff that comes down the pike. As far as the grapevine is concerned, I'm hearing that Periscope might have 4 seats just like Blab. Anybody hear anything like that?
No, but the one thing that I find that I get turned off about Periscope is the comments just keep flying by real quickly, and you can't see them or read them unless you're a super person like Roxanne. She probably handles that very well. I can't do that.
Welcome. Yeah, that's true, Ron. It's like you can't catch it all. There's no way you can catch it all. So, I don't do Periscope. That's not my style or forte. But I know a lot of people who love it. So, yeah. Roxanne.
Hello.
Roxanne.
Hi.
Talk to us, Roxanne.
I'm thinking Blabathon. Like call in for fundraising.
They've had that. They did one for the young man here and got him a computer.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they raised over $4,000. It was amazing. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, see, I know that one guy was more into it than everybody. So maybe have more people get involved because not many people knew about it.
That's true.
For people who might be dropping in and thinking, that we started out as 25 minutes to learn Blab, and we're going into some advanced things here and talking about some different things. It's a rare opportunity we have to have some people on here that we have now that are well versed and know about Blab, and they're able to share their knowledge, and that's why we're continuing this and just letting it go on for a while.
Yeah, it just needs to be scheduled in advance and not just let's do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't do Periscope. I do Google and Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like Periscope, and it's not the same as Blab. I just like the engagement, the organic engagement and conversation that I can have on Blab versus Periscope. Because, I mean, I got a lot of work off Periscope. I met a lot of people. I networked on Periscope. But I just didn't like the monologue on there. It wasn't so much a dialogue. It was me kind of having to talk and kind of like really having to pay attention to the screen. And if I didn't, I lost the conversation. Right here, like, I'll do work. I'll do other things. I don't know. It's more rich. But not to say that Periscope is bad. It's not bad at all. It's just, for me, the way that I like to use it, it just wasn't for me personally. You know, I tell a lot of my clients, you know, Periscope's for you, like you got to use it, but for me it just wasn't. So I think it's just preference.
I like looking at people and seeing their face.
You're a people watcher. Yeah.
I can't talk to myself.
You know what, guys? I'm gonna give this about 5 more minutes, and then I would like to shut it down because we have another meeting we want to get to.
All right.
But I do appreciate you guys coming on. I know Stan does. I'll be back here at 4:00 with the basics because I'm the basic guy, just learning also. And so if anybody wants to stop back, they can. Roy and Michael and Roxanne, thanks you guys for stopping in. And I know we're going to see you again. And I know we'll probably have some things with more advanced things that we'll be getting together with, and appreciate you guys coming on. I'm going to turn it back to Stan now.
Yeah, I'm going to put that link over there again just for a minute. Is that I went ahead after that Christmas thing. What I went ahead and did was I created a blab for later today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time about an all-day Christmas blab. Who wants to help? But we can talk about things other than that, you know, because I think that, you know, there's so many days that we could you know, do things like this.
My birthday. We could celebrate my birthday on Blab one.
We already do. We already do. I'm trying to remember what day it is, but it's definitely in my calendar in ink.
Ian, let me ask you this question real quick before you end all of this. I'm noticing that there's 36 people still here. Mm-hmm. And is that normal for your shows, or what's the deal on that?
It depends. It depends on who's doing the hosting and stuff like that. I mean, you know, it really does, and it depends on the day of the week and all. I mean, there's a lot of things. We've hit 100 before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And so, just to end this, there's going to be 34 people looking for another blab to go to, I think. So
that's absolutely one of the things we want to put on our list is what you'd call a flash blab, I think is what I heard somebody call it one day. Like, what if everybody all of a sudden showed up at somebody's blab from one that was pretty popular? But you have a show at what time? Is that what you're going to get to?
No, I don't. So my question is, had you thought about letting people know that if anybody in the studio audience would like to continue with a particular topic, or start a new topic or whatever, ask them, and then they can all post before it ends, mm-hmm. and or one of us in the seats here can do this, because there's probably 30 people looking for a blab. So since this is how to use Blab, maybe Michael and or myself should continue this to see, you know what I'm trying to say here. I think we should make it a practice to not just end it, but give people a place to go afterwards.
Yeah, see, Roy,
what do y'all think?
Roy, that's one of the reasons why I like you, man. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out and I'm going to go to our meeting, but I'm not going to close this blab. I'll leave my seat there. And so I'll return after this meeting.
Recording?
That's probably a good idea for me to stop the recording.
Yeah, you should stop the recording.